Geno Smith, a top 10 quarterback in fantasy through 4 weeks of the season right now. He comes in at QB9, coming off a monster game against the Lions defense. Is Geno Smith one of the top streaming options at quarterbacks right now, Barry?
I wish he was playing somebody other than New Orleans. He's on the road at New Orleans, but I think he's viable in 2 quarterback leagues. Yeah, because again, he's had 2 passing touchdowns in 3 out of the 4 games so far this year, as you see right there on the screen. He leads the NFL in completion percentage. Feels like they are, letting Geno cook a little bit here.
He's running a little bit.
So he's running a little bit. Their defense isn't good. So on the road at the Saints, yeah, I think he's a top 20 option. Deeper leagues only, but yes, in the right matchup, I think he could be a possible streamer. 2 weeks from now, he's home to Arizona. That defense is bad. We mentioned Tua Tagovailoa not going to play this week, so Teddy Bridgewater, he's on the streaming list. They're at the New York Jets. 193 yards, a touchdown, and interception in relief of Tua. He'll have a full week to prepare with one of the best offenses behind him.
Yeah, and the Jets rank bottom 10 in yards per attempt and touchdown passes allowed this season. Mike McDaniel worked with Robert Saleh for a long time. He's going to know the ins and outs of that defense. Good sign for that offense, even with Teddy at the helm. And staying within this game, Zach Wilson's back. Interesting point production because he caught a touchdown. So
yeah.
A little, it's not going to be that every week. But do you give Zach Wilson any kind of look? Because he's a guy we know can run when need be.
We do, and Miami's allowed the second most passing yards this season. So, he's a really interesting DFS play. He's an interesting, a bet for the over on the passing yards as well. Just so much of a wide range of outcomes for Zach Wilson here. But again, Joe Flacco had some fantasy production here. Don't mind him. I wouldn't want to use him as my only starter, but don't mind grabbing and stashing in deeper leagues.
2 tight ends really quickly. Moe AlieCox available in 95% of leagues. Big Moe AlieCox week.
Let the record show, I did not bring up Moe AlieCox first. It was Connor J. Rogers there as well. 17% target share in week 4. Season high 70% of snaps. After the problem is that the usage has been inconsistent, but hopefully the big production on this past Sunday leads to more work here. We know what a red zone threat he is. It's been a 3-headed monster in Indy, but with JT banged up, maybe he gets more run here. It's kind of thin at tight end on the waiver wire.
Back to Seattle, Will Dissly.
Hey now.
Right now. That is tight end 7 to you, Will Dissly, right now.
12 or more fantasy points in 3 or 4 games this season. He scored a touchdown in all 3. He was targeted on 20% of his routes.
Geno loves him.
In week 4. Geno loves him. Again, if we're saying Geno is viable, so is his tight end Will Dissly, who's playing more snaps than Noah Fant. It feels like at this point they like Dissly as a blocker. In deeper leagues and deeper tight end premium leagues, I do think Will Dissly's a thing who has had fantasy success before. A little touchdown dependent, but what tight end isn't? Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.